Empower Media LLC, where we empower you, parents, and the entire community with transformative information to move mind and spirit to a higher state of well-being. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
Well, welcome to the Empower Room. I am your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes. I go by Rev T, and we ask that you please like our page, send an emoji, add your comment, share, and follow us. We do this format twice a month on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it is a promotion of Empower Media LLC. And we also provide special guests that we have that come on the show that we have from a variety of different topics from all over the country, all over the world that come and share empowering moments with us in the Empower Room. And I first definitely want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers definitely on today. And we're so grateful for this day to be able to take time to say thank you to all the mothers and all the aunts and all the godmothers and all those that play a part in enhancing our world through your nurture, through you giving birth to this civilization that we're in, and thankful for those that may have moms who have passed on. Remember you also, remember those moms who are now our ancestors, and so grateful for the power of the woman and power of mother and how impactful that experience is to have a mother in our life and to be nurtured by mom. So we're so grateful to be able to come to you today on this very special day. And we won't be before you long. We're going to keep it short today because I know there are a lot of people that have a lot of things going on today. So, and the purpose of Empowering Moments is to promote Empower Media LLC, and by sharing cultural, civic, and inspirational moments with special guests, as I stated, from all over the world. And today is no different. And Empower Media LLC is a social empowerment entity, and we empower community through social and digital media, book publishing, programs, and special engagements. We have over 25 years of doing programming, and we're grateful to be able to do that either virtually or in-house personally. Those are options that you have available. We want to invite you to our website, which is MPWR'ing1.com. As you can see on the screen, it is different from how you normally spell empower. We spell it MPWR Media LLC1.com is our website. So please feel free to check out our website. Go to the various pages on our menu so you'll be able to learn more about what Empower Media is all about. All right, and we do have a special guest today that I'm so honored to have again. We thought it was very beneficial to bring her back at this time in relation to a special event that her and the organization have coming up on this Saturday coming up. So I definitely think this is timely for us to share more information with the special guest that we have before us this afternoon. All right, and it's no other than Ms. Jerroll Sanders, and let me bring her on board at this time.
Hello,
all just right. Ms. Sanders, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you were able to come back. And you're the president of On Us Incorporated. When I say On Us, but it's On Us Incorporated. And we were blessed to have you on about a month ago in regard to the concerns regarding the George Floyd Act. And it appears that what you share with us, that there was a legislation that you actually put together, you and your organization put together, which seems to mirror some of the same information from what you have been gathering for over at least 6 years. Is that true? Was it about
Yes, that is correct.
For about 6 years, and there's a concern in regard to what is been passed by the House that will be going to the Senate. And since we had that conversation, I've been talking with Maxine Johnson, and she's got me fired up, and I'm doing all I can on my end through Empower Media and through our social media to get the word out in regard to this event that you have coming up on this Saturday. So, and it's a go live against rogue policing event. Is that correct? Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. Can you tell us more?
Yes. Go live against rogue policing is an acknowledgement that the George Floyd Act is not going to do the job. And too often in our community, we accept the remedies that people give us, that they craft for us. And while there are many aspects of the George Floyd Act that mirror some of the tenets of the Uniform Reporting Law Enforcement Improvement Act, which we call by a short name, the Equality in Policing Act, the really powerful components of the act that we drafted, they're missing from the George Floyd Act. And so what we're saying is that, as the Associated Press says, the George Floyd Act will leave thousands of problem police officers on the street. So if we don't get what we want, which is truly powerful, transforming legislation with respect to policing, then the passage of the George Floyd Act can't represent the end to our efforts. We must continue until we get what is needed to prohibit, first of all, to remove these problem officers, and secondly, to stop the police brutality that is occurring across the nation, even in the dark and the quiet places.
Understand. Okay, so can you share what you feel would be what is missing in the act that will give it the full purpose of what the act should be really about?
It's all the things that are in the Equality in Policing Act that are not in the George Floyd Act that will give us what we need. One aspect in particular, which I talked about pretty much at length during my last visit with you, which viewers obviously may not have been privy to, is the fact that the Uniform Reporting or the Equality in Policing Act, which we call your LEA, it has what I call, it's the database with programs, okay? And those are akin to having the U.S. Department of Justice's most potent tool to end police brutality in effect in every community across the United States 24 hours a day. Now imagine that. You've got the most important tool, which is the pattern or practice investigation, which is a sweeping investigation. It is what the DOJ does whenever there's problem policing. For example, they're doing it right now in Minnesota, and it will involve people in the community. It will require a look at the entire policing entity, and it will require a look at the policing entity and everything that is basically occurring in that community in order to determine how policing is being carried out. Well, the Uniform Reporting Law Enforcement Improvement Act, because it requires law enforcement agents to deposit this information with every stop, okay? And then once that information is deposited, the program itself will massage that data. It will look at the record of each individual police officer over and over and over and over to see what's the color of the demographics of the people that officer is stopping? Has that police officer had use of force incidents? Have people who have encountered that police officer died just days later in hospitals because of the policing, due to the policing actions? I mean, there's just this constant gathering of a treasure trove of information that will allow that database to say, wait, hey, everyone that Chauvin encounters seem to have bruises and brutalized. And by the way, there have been 10 people or 19 people who died within 4 days after being encountered. They were taken to the hospital and then they subsequently died. So all this database will capture all of that information, and then an agent, a lawyer, who can be hired by the family at no cost to the family, who is working actually on behalf of DOJ. That's why there's no cost to the family. That lawyer can then act on behalf of DOJ, just as DOJ would in a pattern of practice investigation, and seek to remove that officer, seek to bring attention to that policing agent, even go as far as to work to invoke a consent agreement within that community. So what your Leah does is so far above what the George Floyd Act does with respect to the database. The George Floyd Act, you know what it does? It says, guess what? Every 6 months, police entities, I want you to send up information on your problem officers. And we're going to put those in a database, and then we're going to allow the public to search. So once again, we are asking policing entities to do the right thing and to tell on their cohorts, which they've demonstrated no propensity or interest in doing. Whereas with your Leah, if you don't report that information, if you withhold any data, then guess what? That is a criminal offense. And if you're found to have done that, then you will be removed from law enforcement. Your supervisor will be removed from law enforcement, and they will never work in law enforcement again, because your Leah database will make sure of that, because it requires that every police officer, every private duty security officer, every every officer who is in a juvenile facility, all of those individuals will have to be registered in that database with their social security number. And once they're determined to be unfit, that unfit indicator is set next to their social security number. And anywhere they go in the country, that validation has to occur. And if that indicator is set, it's like bye-bye, even if you're a private duty security officer.
Interesting. So I see the comprehensive component in regard to the database that you're referring to. And I can see the pushback, that would probably come from that as well. But I see that would really be beneficial because what we're experiencing appears to be a weekly experience of someone being shot and killed by a police officer that look like us. Here to me, it appears to be happening on a weekly basis. There was a shooting here, I think, last week or week before last here in Dallas, Texas, in Mesquite, Texas area, with someone that was known to have had mental concerns, and the police were aware of that, and unfortunately the young man was killed last week. So wow, that is something. So can you tell us more about the event on Saturday and what you're doing specifically, what the focus is for Go Live on Saturday?
Yes, Go Live, and I won't share all of it, but we're going to look at a completely different strategy and approach to policing, to not policing, but to getting the legislation.
All right, I think we've got to disconnect. See if it comes back. Hopefully so. All right, Ms. Sanders, I think we've had a disconnect there to your feed. We're going to need to reconnect at this time. So let me see if we can bring it back. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're back. Okay.
Okay. Go live we're going to flip the entire script that we've been working for the last, I'll say 10 years. We're going to have someone on who's going to share data that is going to be very illuminating to those who have been engaged in policing at the ground level, or and even those who have been watching from afar. We're also going to look at a comparison between the George Floyd Act, the Breathe Act, and the Uniform Reporting Law Enforcement Improvement Act. Because we believe there have been a lot of people on the ground doing a lot of work on this issue. We feel that when you respect a community, you engage that community in the process of crafting remedies. So what we had congressional members, when it was politically expedient, rush to produce a legislative proposal because the time was hot.
Right.
Well, for those of us on the ground, we've been watching this. I've sat in their offices to alert them that it was hot. It's been hot all along because people have been dying every day, and I've stood with parents. I've wept with mothers. I've represented them in media interviews. So what we want them to understand is we're not interested in a political remedy. We're interested in a legislative remedy, but not a political remedy. Mm-hmm. That we want to provide a context for moving forward differently, but in a more productive way to get what we need and what we want with respect to policing legislation.
Understand. So it sounds like reforming the policing, which is a police reform. It sounds like what you're requesting. So what time is the event, and how can people get engaged with this on Saturday?
Yes, and if I could just add to what you just said, it's sure. Reforming the strategy.
Okay, reforming the strategy. Okay.
So we can achieve more, because we don't believe that we believe the strategy that's currently being executed has brought us to this point, and that is a good thing. Now it's time to sort of, to reconfigure to advance to the next level. Our go live will occur at 6:00 p.m. Eastern time on next Saturday. That's Saturday the 15th. Our goal is to bring millions into our call. Okay? Literally, we want millions of viewers, because it takes a critical mass to really reposition what we're this strategy. So that's 6 p.m. At Eastern time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific. So you can go to changeisonus.org. That's changeisonus.org to find the Go Live online virtual sites. And right now, there are a few of those listed, but we will update those throughout the week. What we will not do necessarily is we also have many people who will be broadcasting from their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts, up to 1,000 people. But we will not list all of those. We're going to list some of the prime broadcast spots, and we will list some of those, but not all of those. So please tell everyone this is going to be extremely informative, because we respect the public and we think you need to have knowledge. And so we're going to provide quite a bit of knowledge and information, and we're going to change your perspective on policing in America. So please be there.
All right. So that's this Saturday, 5:15 on the 15th of May. And I'm on Central Standard Time, so 5 p.m. Central Standard Time for me. Those of us in Texas and St. Louis, and that's where a lot of our audience is from. Keep in mind, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so that's an hour ahead of us. For those that may be an hour ahead of us, and then also if you're on the West Coast, that's 2 hours behind.
Yes, that's Pacific Time, and that will be 3 p.m. And then Mountain Time, which is like Denver area, etc. That's 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Okay. All right.
I think Denver is Mountain Time.
Okay. I believe.
I see.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But we will. You're also able to go to your website, which is, what was the website?
Changeisonus.org.
Okay, changeisonus.org. Again, changeisonus.org. You're able to go to that website, and that will also provide you with the information as well. We do have the actual flyer on our website in regard to this event as well on this Saturday, and want to encourage everyone to please go, share with your friends, share with your family, especially for those that are concerned with what is going on in regard to the George Floyd Act currently, with the Urlia Act as well, which is also the Equality and Policing Act as well. I think this is something that we all want to be aware of, be advocates for. I have on my shirt, which is a quote from John Lewis. Good trouble, necessary trouble. All right, just in case somebody's trying to figure out what this shirt is, it is a quote by the late Representative John Lewis. Get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. All right. And I believe that this is some good trouble that we need to get into, because as Ms. Sanders has stated, I believe if we get behind this and really push true legislation that is really incorporating what Ms. Sanders and her people have put together, a committee have put together, I think that reformation will definitely take place in a way that needs to take place. And I think it levels the playing field for citizens in the police department and everyone working for the greater good. I really do. I mean, from what I have learned from having you on, from the first time we had you on to today, with Maxine Johnson telling me more information and keeping me abreast of what's happening. I'm like, hey, we need to try to get as much information out to folks regarding this, and pray that there will be some meeting of the minds in regard to integrating some more pieces of your proposal into the George Floyd Act. I pray before it goes to the Senate. So there are also concerns with trying to get signatures, I believe, in New York with Ralph Nader. Is that correct?
Well, not Ralph Nader. We wanted to get Jerrold Nadler. We just wanted to get some signatures in his district. He's a co-sponsor of the bill. Okay. And we are looking to have his constituents send a letter just emphasizing that something is not enough. The George Floyd Act, and I don't mean to, it's not denigrating the act. It is simply saying that it isn't what we need. And so we're asking people in his district to contact us or write a letter themselves, read the George Floyd Act, and you will discover that act has no compliance mechanism, nothing to make law enforcement do the right thing. And we know law enforcement will not do the right thing if they're not made to do the right thing. So contacting his office to let him know about your lack of pleasure with that act is highly recommended. And certainly, if you're willing to get on board with us, send an email to info at changeisonus.org. That's info, I-N-F-O, at changeisonus.org, and say Jerroll Nadler is your representative and you are willing to join with us in signing a letter advising him of your displeasure with the George Floyd Act and in requesting his support for your Leah.
All right. And that would be from the New York area, those people that you
Yes, Manhattan, the Bronx, and there's several other areas involved. But again, very important. And anyone in Karen Bass's district in California, we invite you to do the same.
Awesome. Okay, so that's Karen Bass's district. Also Nadler. Do I have it right?
Yes, Jerrold Nadler, Jerold Nadler.
Okay, Jerroll Nadler's district as well in New York. So we have California, New York. We need you to please get the info to info@changeisonus.org. So yes, we get those letters in as well to both of those representatives. All right.
Yes, and we also have a telephone number, which is 202-817-1331. 202-817-1331. If you'd like to just reach out on a phone call and say, I'm interested in sending a letter to my representative, which is either Jerrold Nadler or Karen Bass.
All right. And it's 202-817-1331.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. Well,
one other thing, yes. We are reaching out to Elam. I'm sorry. What's her name? Omar's office. Oh, yeah. As well. We're right now setting up a meeting with her office. Anyone from her district, if you can contact us, we would invite that too. She's out of Minnesota.
Okay.
That's right. Ilham Omar.
Okay. Omar out of Minnesota, Bass,
right.
California, and Nadler out of New York.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, and before we go, I know you had mentioned when you were on with us before that you had some proposal, I believe, in regard to the Voting Bill Act. Can you share just a snippet of that with us, or summation of that with us?
Sure. When President Trump was elected into office, 2 days after, I began calling for a revote, stating that Russia had intervened in U.S. election. This is actually before the CIA came out and began to tell everyone that Russia had intervened. In fact, the video is still there on YouTube. I was calling upon President Obama to hold to literally cancel and revote the election. What occurred was there is no constitutional basis for a, quote, revote. And in talking with some of the best lawyers across the country, the ones who worked on Gore's campaign, Lawrence Tribe, they all said there was no path to a revote. Well, I found one. I actually wrote, I'm not a lawyer, but I wrote a constitutional case, advanced it to the U.S. Supreme Court, and it was deemed a case of first impression, meaning the argument had never been put forth in the United States ever before. And here's the argument. Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution states that the United States shall guarantee to every state a republican form of a government and shall protect each of them against invasion. So I argued that cyberspace is a new territory. And in the 2016 election, that cyber territory had not been protected against invasion because Russia had invaded cyber territory. And actually, most people don't know Russia was actually inside of computer systems in a number of states, and no one knows what they did while they were there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So with that said, that argument gave rise to the legal justification that the federal government has now authority to intervene in state elections in the way that they had not before, because the Constitution requires the federal government to ensure that state cyber territories, which include their election systems, are protected against invasions. So that means the federal government now has authority to create blanket standards to protect voting systems. Well, that in protecting voting systems against cyber invaders outside, you can formulate policy to protect election systems against all invaders. And so that very case, again, which was deemed a case of first impression, can be used to bring about standards that, if they are not there, would allow not only a foreign invader, but an invader within a state or interstate to affect elections. Because an election, I argue, is an inventorying of the will of the people. Right. And inventory is one of my areas of expertise. And I know when you do an inventory, you should be able to do a count, and you should be able to do a recount, and you should be able to come up with the same votes. There should be very basic safeguards and mechanisms to ensure that votes are protected. So I think that utilizing that argument, that legal argument, would provide the foundation for preventing some of this voter infringement that is currently happening, because what you do is you take it outside of the state's authority, and now you can give it to the feds, and you can create national standards. You could create national voter registration standards. While the state is going to retain some authority, you could do away with a lot of what is being used to suppress the vote.
Okay, that's interesting. Is there what kind of movement has there been in regard to what you presented? Has any representatives reached out to you or anything in regard to what you presented?
What, to be honest, that case was I advanced it in 2020, and it's something that we need. We've been so focused on policing, we need to drive that to Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams and her group needs to know that this provision exists and has been recognized as viable by U.S. Court of Appeals. I mean, they moved that through. And just for the record, for anyone who goes out and tries to find it, I drafted it solely, and there were some white people who decided they step up and say that they did it. I have the U.S. copyright. It was the most phenomenal. I mean, people from all over the country, the White House, people were calling it a brilliant argument. And some white people, and I will say it just like that, they just can't stand Black intellectual capacity. And so they just wanted to mar it and brand it with their name, which was, which is, again, I have the copyright on it.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you.
And you can't copyright something as a sole copyright owner if you weren't the sole writer.
Indeed. Well, you're awesome, and I'm so glad that you had time out of your busy schedule to come back in the Empower Room. I think this is what the Empower Room is all about, and it's about sharing information with people, especially in this current climate that we're dealing with in regard to policing and voting, and seeing what has been happening in socially and economically around us and all that. So I thank you so much for what you are doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Empower Media LLC is wanting to support and help and assist any way we possibly can. In fact, we have a magazine called The Examiner Quarterly that we do, and we've had our second edition come out, and so we have our third edition coming out. It should be out in July, and I would like to invite you in on that as a to share a article in that in the Examiner. But I'll send you some copies, and then you let me know what you think. All right, but I think you'll be impressed.
Well, I can see the excellence already, and I can, and I just want to tell everyone, when you come to our Go Live, you're going to be exposed to a way of thinking that you've never entertained before about policing. We're going to shift the paradigm so that we can move strategically towards achieving a higher level of success. So I'm excited about it. Be there.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, so this will be taking place, Go Live will be taking place on this Saturday, 5/15, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. And I want you to also go to changeisonus.org. Changeisonus.org, and you're able to see the flyer that's there to get more information. I think this is going to be a phenomenal event. I'm looking forward to being a part, and looking forward to how well it reaches to those that need this information. And I know it's going to be awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you again for taking this on. I mean, again, we're celebrating Mother's Day, and what I always say is mothers are the ones who give birth to civilization. So I thank you for giving birth to correcting the wrong as relates to social justice in the policing area, and looks like you got it covered for voting too. So keep on doing. All right. So thank you so much. All right. And thanks again for Maxine Johnson for connecting us as well. And I look forward to again being with you all on Saturday.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. And thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, thank you. And enjoy your mom and family. And I know they're waiting on that good meal, so I'm going to let you go.
Okay. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right now. Take care. All right. All right. So I hope that you all have been empowered. Again, let me show you this shirt one more time. Get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. All right. This is a quote by the late Representative John Lewis, and want to encourage us again to please make sure that we go out and check out this wonderful event that will be live on social media. And you can go to changeisonus.org. That is where you can get more information, learn how to figure, and you're able to see how you're able to tune in to get connected to this wonderful engagement through social media. I think it's going to be very powerful, very impactful, and also provide us with some great information that we will need. All right, so please make sure that you join us on this Saturday, the 15th, and depending on what time zone you're in, please be present. It could be 5 p.m., it could be 6 p.m., it could be 3 p.m., it could be 4 p.m., whatever it is, make sure you're there. All right. So again, we want to thank you all so much for being in the Empower Room with us. Again, our website for Empower Media is Empower Media LLC 1. We also have our Twitter handle, Instagram page, Empower Media LLC. Our phone number is 1-888-970-9557. And last but not least, we do have, in relation to our publications, some wonderful contributions that we have brought to the world, if you will. And one is In the Blink of an Eye, which is a publication of a personal experience testimony that I shared that has been really inspirational to a lot of people. So I want to encourage you to please go to Amazon.com and you will put in the Blink of an Eye by Reverend Timothy Hughes, and you will be able to purchase this book. It's a phenomenal book about an experience that I had on February 14th, 2014, where I was taking my wife out for a wonderful evening on Valentine's Day. And unfortunately, we did not make it into the arena, but the Lord took me to a higher place, a higher location that I had never been to and was blessed to come back from. So I'll leave that there, and I want you to please go to Amazon, or you can go to our website, MPWRLC1.com, and you'll be able to be forwarded to Amazon from our store page. And last but not least, we also have our second edition of the Examiner Quarterly, which have been getting some really good reviews thus far. Who we have on the cover is Dr. Bernard Lafayette, who was very instrumental with the Civil Rights Movement, with Dr. Martin Luther King. Also, Chuck Alphen and Charles Alphen Sr. are very instrumental in continuing the nonviolence philosophy of Dr. Martin Luther King, and they have been all over the world sharing the philosophy of Dr. King in regard to the nonviolence philosophy. And it's a wonderful story that I had the opportunity to interview them on. And also there's a great interview with Tabri Fall, who was the young man who spoke at John Lewis's funeral. Also, there's a wonderful interview in there with him. We also have a returning contributor, Christy Fitzgerald, who did a wonderful article as well on Fannie Lou Hamer. We have one of our contributors all the way from Ghana, West Africa, that's sharing with us the culture of his tribe that he's from, and the chief, and some of the ceremonies that they partake in there in Elmina. On the west coast of Africa. So just to name a few. So just a wonderful read. And we find that the magazine can be very instrumental in your classrooms, be it at a high school, be it at a college, be it in your organization, even your church, study groups, those type of things. If you are really strong on social justice issues, you will find some very good information in the magazine. Again, that's available at MPWRLC1.com on our store page, and you can purchase it right there. Become a subscriber to us on a yearly basis, or choose to purchase one copy. You're more than welcome to do either. All right, so we want to thank you all so much. Again, happy Mother's Day to everyone, and we pray that you have had a blessed one today, and hope that you have been empowered by our guest, Ms. Jerroll Sanders, who was with us today and did a wonderful job of sharing what they have coming up in regard to this Saturday. All right, so thank you all so much, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. And feel free to like our page, leave a comment, send us an emoji. Let us know what you think. We really, really appreciate it. All right, so we pray that you all have a blessed rest of the day. Happy Mother's Day, and God bless everyone. Amen. All right, so thank you all again. God bless.
Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. Hope you have received some impactful information. Please like or leave a comment. See you next week in the Empower Room, brought to you by Empower Media LLC and your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, aka Rev T.